So two Nerf sidearms that I tend to favor a lot are the Holdout and the Doublestrike. The Holdout is a single-shot spring-powered pistol, very nice ergonomics and whatnot. The Doublestrike is really more practical. Two-shot, spring-powered, and hammer action, so you can operate it with one hand. But which one is better? Like, which one is objectively better? That's what we'll be covering in today's video. Hey guys, SirMikay here, and today we're going to be covering a comparison on the Doublestrike versus the Holdout to see which is the better sidearm. Let's get straight into it. The order of this list will be similarities, then pros and cons of each weapon. Then I'll be going over which one is objectively better after comparing the overall pros and cons. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Starting off with the similarities, both are front-loading springers, which is always nice. Both have attack rail, and both have very similar price for what they offer. And that's just about where the similarities end. However, I do want to point out that the themes of both series are really similar, because it's kind of post-apocalyptic and whatnot. Doesn't really matter. Makes no difference whatsoever, but yeah, that is it for the similarities. Let's get on to the pros and cons of each blaster. Starting off with the pros of the Holdout, for the purchase, you get more than just the blaster itself. You also get 2 darts, as well as an included optic. The ergonomics are also great for me, although it's not for everyone. I can say that. Plus, it's really hard to mess up operating this. I mean, it's a front-loading single-shot Springer. You can't mess that up. And plus, that makes it really easy to modify too, so if for whatever reason you don't like the stock performance, don't worry. Modifying this isn't too much of a trouble. But it also comes with a really unique feature on the optic, and that is ammo storage. This is something you don't see on other optics unless you buy aftermarket products. And another pro of the Holdout is that if you don't like this paint job, of course you can just give it a different paint job or even make your own shell for it. I don't know, because this shell might not fit you, but it's really easy to put the internals and stuff into another shell. Or it's really easy to take it apart, just hydrate the shell or something, and then put it back together. It's just really easy to do that, and it's kind of hard to mess up as long as you know what you're doing. However, those are pretty much all the pros. I did forget to mention that it's on par performance with other elite primaries, and definitely over the average for secondaries, but that is pretty much where the pros end. Now to the cons. Yeah, not everyone really likes the ergonomics. I mean, it personally fits me really well, but it's not for everyone. Plus, it's only got one shot. And once you use up that one shot, you have to reload. And it makes operating the blaster kind of sluggish. I definitely wouldn't run this as my primary. A sidearm maybe, but definitely not a primary. Plus, it is still kind of expensive for what's basically a Jolt reskin. It's essentially a bigger Jolt. I can kind of see why they made it bigger to put that upgraded spring in there, but it's in essence just a Jolt reskin. Sure, you get an included optic and a couple darts, but other than that, it's just too similar to a Jolt to really be compared to anything else. And it's kind of overpriced for a Jolt. Definitely above the Jolt average price. But yeah, that is the not microshots. Dang it, my mind is set on Jolt reskins now. That is it for the Holdout. Now let's get on to the pros and cons of the Doublestrike. Starting off with the pros for the Doublestrike, it is a front-loading Springer. So again, it's really hard to mess it up. I mean, you just load in a couple of darts, prime it, and then fire off once. Secondly, it holds 2 shots as opposed to only 1 that the Holdout has. Third, it's hammer action. You know hammer action is good because you can operate it one-handed while you hold something like a flag, your primary, or even another double strike in your offhand. And finally, it looks like a revolver. I mean, it obviously isn't an actual revolver, but you gotta admit it looks like one. And, you know, if you gave this a paint job, you could look like you're carrying a real steel gun. Of course, I wouldn't do that in public, but if you just wanted to cosplay and this color scheme for whatever reason wasn't for you, then, I don't know, you could give this a paint job if you really wanted. And then you could look like a true cowboy. Yeah. And finally, this pivoting trigger here. I don't know what it is about pivoting triggers, I just like them. However, that's about it for the pros. Now to the cons. Sure, it's about the same price as the Holdout, but you're not getting as much, or at least it doesn't feel like you're getting as much. It's overall a better alternative to any Jolt reskin, but it just doesn't feel like you're getting as much. All you really get with one package is the blaster and darts, and that's it. No instructions, no accessories, nothing else, really. And sure, they do that with a lot of their blasters, especially, do I have to say it, Elite 2.0. But, man, this, yeah, you really do not get a lot for what you're paying here. So, that is kind of a con, even if it's a better blaster than most Jolt reskins. Secondly, the ergonomics of this grip. I know I said I don't mind them in my review, but around the time I posted that, I was really bad at doing reviews. So, yeah, update on my opinion. This grip just feels kind of cramped, and it might be because of that little notch at the very end of it. Overall, though, aside from the grip, the ergonomics are just fine. However, that is a pretty major complaint that I have now. Yeah, that is just about it for the cons of the Doublestrike. Now, let's compare both and see which one is better. So now it comes down to comparing both blasters and seeing which one is better overall. The Holdout or the Doublestrike? The answer is, I can't recommend one over the other, because I honestly adore both of these pistols. They're both really good. And I would personally run either one if I had to. More so the Holdout, but the Doublestrike is also just as good of an option. And in my opinion, the only real flaw are the ergonomics. I mean, I wound up giving a mostly positive review on this. And if I spent my money on this blaster to give it a positive review, then you know that if the ergonomics are really the only flaw I have, then it's a good blaster. Other than that, just about everything between these I really like. You might not like it, though. You might prefer the Holdout over the Doublestrike, and vice versa. And in that case, I'd recommend you look for more in-depth reviews by more professional YouTubers. Because by the time I look back at this in a few years, I might think, wow, I sucked at doing reviews. Yeah, I might think that a few years from now, just like I do now, looking back at my old reviews. And I haven't even been doing YouTube videos for a year. So, yeah. I would recommend you look towards more professional reviews on both of these blasters if you wanted to find out which one is truly better. But if you're just looking at my review, then I'd say go ahead and buy either one. There's really nothing wrong with it. Because, you know, both of these blasters are really good. I just like them both. And it overall just comes down to what you think. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you want me to do more blaster comparisons in the future, then let me know. And I might just do it. But anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.